of the Westin in Uptown Charlotte. We welcome in the Cardinals from Louisville and new head coach Jeff Brohm. We'll ask Coach to come up to the podium for 15 minutes or so, and then we will meet with each of our student athletes for about 5 minutes thereafter. As the Cardinals make their way up on the stage, we'll remind everybody to please identify yourselves and the agency that you are with and hold those hands high in the air until we get the microphone to you. And then once we do, the floor is yours. So as our student athletes get settled, we will ask who would like the first question of our head coach from here in the room. Coach, we're going to go left side almost to the wall, about the 6th row back.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. David Hood with TigerNet.com. In talking to people up at Louisville, they talk about when you got there, it was so evident you were wanting to change the culture, whether it was even giving tours of the facilities, making sure people are involved, wanted. How important was that for you from day one to instill a Jeff Brohm / Louisville type culture there?
Well, I think it's important that just in general, whether you're changing culture or not, that you are invested in the program and that you're doing your part to not only help your team achieve success and get better, but also opening the doors to many people that want to be a part of it. Like everything, your fan base is important. I feel like in Louisville we have a tremendous, passionate fan base that wants to see their team succeed and do well, that wants to feel a part of it, and we want to make them feel a part of it. I think, like anything, you have your immediate family, you have your team family, but then you have your extended family of anybody that wants to help and experience a great time and help building a program and having success. So we're excited to get things underway. We've got a good nucleus of ball players that work really hard and want to achieve great things. Myself as a head coach, I have to do my part and put in the work to help us have answers to problems, to be able to fix things immediately throughout the season, and our assistants have to do the same thing. And then it trickles down to our team. But I think we all put in the work and we all are invested, and our community and fan base feels that investment, that in the end good things can happen.
We're going to move the microphone to the right side, Coach. 4th row, red shirt.
Coach Brohm, Kenton Gibbs with Locked On ACC. Coach Brohm, you took over a Purdue team that was not just a Big Ten, but a perennial Power 5 bottom dweller. And you took them to heights that program hadn't seen in years. And you come into Louisville with a lot of expectation, taking over a team that's in a much better place, most people would say, than where that Purdue team was. So how do you go about, like, hey, I expect greatness out of this team, I expect a high ceiling, but also being realistic in terms of, like, this is, I wouldn't want to let down or whatever the case may be in terms of, like, if you're expecting a national championship right now, we may not be there. How do you balance that per se?
Well, personally, I like challenges. I look forward to them. Even when I took the Purdue job, I remember asking a lot of colleagues of mine when I took it, what do you think? Should I take this job? And probably 95% said, heck no, don't take that. But to me, I like building a winning football team. Without question, coming here at the University of Louisville is another challenge. Now, it's different and it's unique, but yes, we have some really good football players on our team, some guys that have had success. We watched a team last year that got better as the year went on, that the last half of the season the defense played at a high level. And really, you just take every team that you have, you try to figure out what are our strengths, what are some things we can get better at, how can we do that? Are there things we need to do to develop certain guys here? Do we need to add a few pieces to the puzzle to make things more competitive? But in today's age of college athletics, it's about winning now. It's about doing it, in my opinion, with our current football team and then any new pieces we've added. And we want to do that in year one, and it's important that you do that. So I just think if you build a competitive environment where our guys are working hard every day, that they understand that if you put in the work, you'll have a chance to do great things. They aren't scared of a challenge or they aren't scared of obstacles. They feel like that we have a group of coaches that are going to work with them on a daily basis to help them improve and get better, that anything can happen. So we're going to take this challenge head on and look every opponent directly in the eye and go out there and compete on a weekly basis come game day. And I think if you do that and you're willing going into the season knowing that, you know what, yeah, we could lose a game or two. How are you going to handle those losses will determine how the season goes. So if we can find ways to improve, find ways to get better, find ways to win some close games, find ways to win on the road, it can definitely lead to success.
Coach, left side all the way to the left, almost towards the doors.
Hey, Coach, Chip Patterson, CBS Sports. It was a pretty significant transfer portal class, both in terms of the number and also the quality of the players that are coming in. What was your pitch to that group, and how do you manage blending them in with some of the players that are still left over from last team?
Well, I think we have a lot to sell to University of Louisville. It's a tremendous college sports town, great facilities, passionate fan base. There is no pro sports in our town, but we provide a great city of a lot of things to do even outside of the game. So that's an easy sell. I think we've had some great, talented football players that have gone on and done great things at the NFL level throughout the entire history. Right now, the highest paid corner in the NFL is from University of Louisville, the highest paid quarterback, University of Louisville. So you can come here and achieve all your goals and do it at a high level. When it comes to, our football team and adding pieces, it's about being honest. It's about understanding that our goal is to build a championship level team. And for our really good players on the team, they know that in order for them to play well and have success, they can do it a lot better with really good players around them. So you just try to piece that together. Our guys know that the best players are going to play, but if you're ready to play and you can contribute, we're going to get you on the field as well. And you can prove to us that you should earn more playing time. So I just think, the fact that I'm fortunately going on my 10th year of a head coach, you've been battle tested. I've been in some tough football games where we found a way to win against opponents that maybe we weren't expected to win against. We found ways to get to a Big Ten championship game at a place that had not done that, ever before. And then we found ways to get up off the ground when we got knocked down when we shouldn't. So, how can we piece that together here? And I just think it's about being honest with your guys, being truthful, but putting in the work and them putting in the work. And in my opinion, if you do that, you can win football games at a high level.
Coach, right side, fourth row, young lady in the green.
Coach, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. My name's Katrina Sack. I'm with Sports and Culture Media. Now, last year I spoke with Malik Cunningham, who is now officially in the league. What is that like, being able to see those guys? You had mentioned you had some guys in the league. What's that like, being able to kind of send them off and into the bigger world, as well as what is it like filling that absence of him this season?
Well, anytime your players are able to move on and get to the National Football League, it's a great accomplishment. It's not easy to do. These young men put in a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work in order to achieve that goal. And, while they're doing it, we want to make sure we help teach them how to live a balanced life of getting your education, finding something you want to do beyond the game of football, getting better off the field as well, and relating to people and having a good life in general. But, when it comes to Malik Cunningham, I was a fan of his from afar, watched him play a lot. Dynamic player, could carry a team on his shoulders. He gets an opportunity to now go play for the Patriots and probably assume a dual role of a lot of different things. So we're happy for him. And I just think that all these guys in college athletics, they work hard. They want to have a chance to play at the highest level. And as a former player myself, you want to provide that for them. And I think if you do that and you do it over the long haul and you do it the right way, it will continue to bring in others as well that want to achieve those same goals.
We've got about 6 minutes left with Coach. Coach, to your left side, fourth row.
How you doing, Coach?
Good.
Deshaun Miner, CFB Nation. L's up, Coach.
What's up?
I have a question. It's two parts. The first part is that you actually got coached by Howard Schellenberger from 1989 to 1993, and recently they just announced that Louisville and Miami are going to be competing for that trophy. Can you talk to us about what your relationship is with your old ball coach? And then the second part is, you are a former Louisville football player who is now returning to his alumni to coach. What does that mean to you specifically?
Well, on the first question, Coach Schnellberger was a Hall of Fame football coach, not only at the college level, but also in the NFL. Was the offensive coordinator for the only undefeated team in National Football League history. He was a builder of programs, whether it be University of Louisville, Miami, Florida Atlantic University. He took on things that others were scared to take on, and he found a way to win doing that, and that's not easy to do. So I have a great admiration for him and his wife, Beverly. I got a chance to play for him, coach with him for 1 year. When it came to developing teams, instilling a work ethic second to none, getting his players to believe that they're better than they even were, so that anytime they took the field, they were able to take on that challenge. He was the best at it. So, I was very close with Coach Snellenberger. Unfortunately, he passed this past year, but his wife, Beverly, I'm in contact with her to get the Miami-Louisville trophy winner named after him is a great tribute. So I'm excited about that. When it comes to, coming back to where I'm from and where I played at, it's a great honor. It's a great opportunity. At the same time, it requires some pressure that, I don't want to let people down. There's a lot of people that may think a certain way about me, and I want to make sure we build on that. And in order to do that, you've got to win, and you've got to play a competitive brand of football, and you've got to find a way to elevate the program, and you've got to be consistent in your approach and be a good person along the way. So I just think you got to learn from your mistakes in the past. You got to piece it all together. You got to be aggressive in your approach, and you got to attack every day in order to win. And I think one thing, when it's right in your backyard, you got to go to bed every night knowing, you know what, you better work a little bit extra hard today and this week in order to get it done, because you want to be able to look in the mirror when the season's over.
Coach, your last question, right side, red shirt.
Coach, Kenton Gibbs with Locked on ACC. Is there anything about this team that coming in to become their head coach so far throughout spring ball and heading into fall camp that has surprised you? That you from afar, from an outside perspective, didn't quite have an awareness of, but amongst, getting into the weeds and doing the coaching and all that, you're like, oh, wow, this team is much better at this thing or very different in their philosophy of doing this thing than I would have imagined coming in.
I think every team, and, this team when we came in, they've been battle tested. They've had some ups, they've had some downs. They're hungry. They want to achieve greatness. We've got some really good components to our team, some great experience. They've done a lot of really good things, mixed in with some youth that maybe is right on the cusp of getting that done. And then we've added some new pieces to provide competition and to try to help us win. But this team wants to win, and they can smell it. They've worked hard every day to get it done. They understand there's no shortcuts to success. They're really good teammates to each other. They're willing to lay it on the line. So I just think I have to provide them an environment with our coaches that it's competitive every day. Once we get into fall camp, we're not only working on a lot of small things, but we're providing an atmosphere that's very competitive where, it's almost as much game day as you can make it so that when they come to the game that they can play relaxed, they can cut it loose, and they can go have some fun. But we love this crew of guys. It's a good group. We tell them all the time, hey, everybody's happy now, but how are you going to be able to handle the season once it gets going, whether there's some ups and downs and wins and losses, and how you're going to be able to refocus and get it done. That's going to be the key. But, our guys have worked really hard, and when you come to media day, the season's right around the corner, and we're excited to get game one kicked off.
Coach, thank you. If you'll switch places with Ashton.